I wanted to know if you think, and if you asked the United States to specifically accept more refugees.
Okay. A friend in need is a friend in need. More disturbing gaffes as Vice President Kamala Harris was all laughs in Poland on Wednesday when asked about the fate of more than 2.5 million refugees who fled Ukraine in what's become the largest displacement of people in Europe since World War II. Stephen Miller served as senior policy advisor for President Trump. He is the founder of America First Legal. Stephen, good morning to you. Thanks very much for being here. A lot to get to with you, and I'll start right out it with the Kamala Harris presentation in Eastern Europe. Your reaction to our vice president on foreign land. Has she been effective?
She has been one of the most spectacularly ineffective representatives of the United States of America I think we have ever seen. That moment with the president of Poland, in which she's telling some sort of indecipherable joke about Ukrainian refugees that she alone in the whole world understands, is a new low point in American diplomacy. The Ukrainian refugees have suffered unimaginable horror and suffering. What joke she thinks there, what's funny about that, what she thinks is worth laughing about, only she, in her mind, could understand, but a truly, truly disturbing moment.
Tell me about the U.S.'s response from your standpoint and what should be done now. Stephen, we are looking for solutions now, more bloodshed, an American journalist dead this morning as a result of foreign fire. Your reaction?
For 30 years, the United States has had the position that we want to expand NATO eastward. And then more recently, especially in 2008 with the Bucharest Declaration, the United States' position has been that Ukraine and Georgia will join NATO. The Biden administration, in the run-up to the invasion on November 10th, issued a statement bilaterally with Ukraine reaffirming the Bucharest Declaration. Kamala Harris, likewise, before the invasion, went to Europe and reaffirmed the desire of the administration for Ukraine to join NATO. Nothing changes the fact that Vladimir Putin has committed atrocities that words cannot describe. But at this point in time, we are looking at a Syria-like situation on our current path, with endless bloodshed and violence. It's worth considering whether or not to publicly propose the condition of a negotiated settlement that includes Ukrainian neutrality. That's not a permanent solution. It does not end the problems forever. It does not make these long-standing issues go away. But if it has the potential to save hundreds of thousands of lives, it should be considered. And I will also note that if Putin publicly were to reject such a proposal, it would severely weaken his standing in his own country, as he would be rejecting the stated rationale for his bloody invasion.
And you think this is something that President Zelensky would accept?
In his recent comments, he has suggested, as I've read them, assuming the news reports are accurate, that in light of the fact that the West has made clear that they do not intend for Ukraine to join NATO anytime soon, that he's reevaluated his own feelings about whether or not he also wishes to publicly pursue NATO membership at this time. So we've put Ukraine in the worst position imaginable. It's quite heartbreaking. Yeah. Publicly saying we want them to join NATO, but not actually having them in NATO, puts them in the most vulnerable position imaginable. And that's been the U.S. foreign policy for many years, except under President Trump.
Yeah. Stephen, I want to play this soundbite of Kamala Harris when she was asked about gasoline prices this week, because there are many skeptics who say this administration does not really want to go against Putin. They want him as a partner in climate change. They want him as a partner in the Iran deal. Here's Kamala Harris with really no answers when asked about gasoline prices. Watch how she responds. Look.
How long should Americans expect? How long should we be bracing for this really sort of historic inflation and some unprecedented gas prices?
Sure. in terms of the discussions that the President, Johannes, and I had, they ranged in subject, including the issue of the Black Sea, and I'll let him explain in more detail as he would like.
She is clearly
She goes on to say, just
unwell.
look at the map. She had no answers for gasoline prices. Is that possible?
It was a heart-stopping moment. She was asked about gasoline prices and inflation in America, and she tried to defer to President Duda, the Polish president. I mean, it is truly horrifying to think that the Vice President of the United States lacks confidence so extremely on our domestic issues that she wants the President of Poland to discuss our gas prices and our inflation, and then she starts stammering about the Black Sea and reading her notes. This is not a well person. Between President Biden and Vice President Harris, the United States is completely rudderless, and all of our allies, all of our adversaries, all of our partners and competitors around the world have taken notice. And I would say on this energy issue, it's not just about Russia. It's about America's ability long-term to be safe and secure. And we cannot be, unless Biden's embargo on American energy is lifted and suspended, or we will be in an infinitely worse position than Germany. We will be in an infinitely worse position than our European partners. We cannot, as a country, survive long-term if we are dependent on others for our energy.
On the refugee situation, though, you think this is a humanitarian crisis, not a policy crisis for this administration, right? Tell me about all of those people trying to flee the bloodshed. Where are they going? Where should they be going?
The good news here is that I don't think there's widespread disagreement between the United States and Europe on what the best course is, and hopefully it stays this way, which is that there's an obligation on the part of our European partners to absorb the Ukrainian refugees. That would be the single most effective, speedy way to ensure that people are housed, clothed, have their medical needs met. It would be extremely inefficient. It would be extremely burdensome to try to resettle farther away when you're dealing with numbers of this magnitude. And so working with our European partners and sharing our expertise, our logistical skills, and providing that kind of support to make sure that neighboring countries and nearby countries in Europe can help people have a home, with the hope being that this conflict can end, that the United States can take the lead in trying to bring this conflict to an end so that those Ukrainians can go home to their families and communities and the places that they love.
Stephen, thank you very much.
Thank
Stephen
you.
Miller joining us with his take on all of this.